Thor stood on the bridge of the Asgardian flagship, Stormbreaker, his gaze fixed on the vast expanse of space before him. The fleet, composed of Asgard's most powerful warships, floated in disciplined formation, their golden hulls glinting under the light of distant stars. As supreme commander of the Asgard Fleet, Thor bore the weight of his people's survival on his shoulders. The cosmos was no longer the place it once was. War raged between empires, and Asgard, though mighty, was no exception to the chaos. The threat came from the Nihil Dominion, a ruthless empire that had set its sights on conquering the realms. Their vast armada swept across galaxies, consuming civilizations in their wake. Intelligence reports indicated that they had deployed a battle group toward Vanaheim, one of the 9 realms. If the Dominion succeeded in taking Vanaheim, Asgard's position in the universe would be dangerously compromised. Thor knew there was no room for hesitation. This was war. With a deep breath, he turned to his commanders, Lady Sif and Balder the Brave standing at his side. "We move for Vanaheim. Send word to the fleet. Prepare for battle." Orders echoed through the bridge, and within moments, the Asgardian fleet roared to life. Runes glowed along the hulls of the golden ships as the engines powered up. The fleet surged forward, piercing through the fabric of space as they engaged their cosmic travel runes, a technology gifted to them by Odin himself. As they neared Vanaheim, the battle was already underway. The Nihil warships, monstrous behemoths of blackened steel, rained destruction upon the Vanaheim defenders. The planetary shields flickered under the onslaught, on the verge of collapse. Thor wasted no time. "All ships engage." The Asgardian fleet descended upon the Nihil armada like a storm. The elegant yet deadly ships of Asgard weaved through enemy fire, their enchanted weapons striking with divine precision. Thor, standing at the forefront of the command deck, raised Mjolnir high. Lightning arced through the vacuum of space, dancing between enemy ships and frying their systems. The battle raged with a fury unmatched, the clash of gods and conquerors echoing across the heavens. On the battlefield, Thor was a force of nature. He launched from Stormbreaker's bridge, soaring into the fray. With Mjolnir in one hand and Stormbreaker in the other, he carved through the enemy ranks, tearing apart warships as if they were made of mere parchment. The Nihil commanders, once confident in their overwhelming numbers, now faced the wrath of the god of thunder himself. The tide of battle turned swiftly. With Thor leading the charge, the Asgardian fleet pressed forward, breaking the Nihil formations and sending them into disarray. Sif and Balder, commanding their own squadrons, struck at the heart of the enemy lines, cutting through their flagships with devastating precision. As the last Nihil warship fell, the remnants of their fleet fled into the abyss, leaving Vanaheim victorious but scarred. In the aftermath of the battle, Thor stood amidst the ruins of the battlefield, watching the people of Vanaheim tend to their wounded. Though victorious, the cost of war was ever a heavy burden. He knew this was not the last time Asgard would be tested. The Nihil Dominion would not forget this defeat, and darker threats lurked in the depths of the universe. As the fleet prepared to return home, Thor cast his gaze toward the endless stars. He was not just the god of thunder. He was a protector, a warrior, and a leader. And as long as the realms needed him, he would stand at the forefront, hammer in hand, ready to defend them from the darkness that sought to consume the light. Thor returned to Asgard, where the halls of Valaskjaf awaited his report. Odin's throne stood empty, his father long gone, and now it was Thor's duty to uphold the legacy of his ancestors. The great hall was filled with warriors and dignitaries, their eyes upon him as he stepped forward. Frigga, his mother, sat at the high seat, her wisdom ever a guiding light. "The battle is won, but the war is far from over," Thor declared. "The Nihil Dominion will strike again. We must be ready." Frigga nodded solemnly. "Your father knew the burden of leadership, as do you now. We stand with you, my son." As Thor left the hall, he was met by Loki, his ever-enigmatic brother. "A fine victory, brother," Loki mused, smirking. "But how long before the next war calls?" Thor sighed. "Not long, I fear. We must be vigilant." Beyond Asgard, the universe whispered of greater threats, unseen forces that moved in the shadows. Thor knew his role as Supreme Commander was just beginning, and that the gods of Asgard would always be called to battle as long as darkness sought to claim the stars. Days later, as Thor meditated in the great hall of Valaskjaf, the alarms rang throughout the palace. Heimdall's voice thundered through the halls. "A new fleet approaches, unknown in origin, but immense in power." Thor rushed to the Bifrost, where Heimdall, ever watchful, gazed into the cosmos. The golden-eyed sentinel turned to Thor, his expression grave. "This is no nihil force. This is something older, and far more dangerous." As Thor peered into the vastness of space, he saw the silhouette of an approaching armada. Towering obsidian ships, their hulls etched with ancient runes, drifted through the void with unnatural silence. They bore no banners, no insignias of allegiance. They were death incarnate. Balder and Sif stood beside Thor, their hands on the hilts of their blades. "What do we do?" Balder asked, his voice firm yet edged with caution. Thor clenched his fists around Mjolnir. "We prepare for war. Gather the fleet. Alert the realms. Asgard will not fall." The skies above Asgard darkened as the enemy fleet emerged from the void, and the storm of war brewed once more. Thunder crackled through the heavens as Thor leapt into the sky, ready to defend his home against a foe unknown, yet terrifying in its power. The supreme commander of the Asgard Fleet had only just begun his greatest battle.